Hey guys, how is it going? This is Mr. K from Lucky Programmers. I will be uploading Java conceptual videos regularly for beginners. So, if you are new here, consider subscribing. If you haven't subscribed yet, you are missing out. Okay guys, let's get started without further ado. So guys, this is part 2 on this keyword. In case if you haven't seen part 1 on this keyword, stop this video right here and go back, watch that part 1 on this keyword and come back to this video. I am going to provide the link to the part 1 video in the description as well as in the iCard above. So guys, I have a real-time program for you as a bonus. You are going to like that real-time program for sure. So watch the video till the end. Don't miss it. Watch the video till the end. So guys, let's start with today's concept. Here, as you can see, we have some code. This is class test and this is a non-static variable and the non-static variable name is num. We have a constructor and we have a non-static method as well as main method inside this code. Let's consider this robo as our JVM. So this JVM will come into this code and find this main method first of all. As soon as the JVM finds this main method, it will enter inside and it is going to see the object creation. As soon as it sees the object creation and this new keyword, because of this new keyword, it is going to create, the JVM is going to create a object. As you can see on the screen, this object has been allocated a new memory by the JVM. Because of this new keyword, the object has been created and inside this object, the JVM will load all the non-static variables and non-static methods whichever is present inside the code. As in case of this code, we have non-static variable num and a non-static method checkNum. Both this non-static variable num and non-static method checkNum will be loaded inside the object as you can see on the screen. Initially, the value of the non-static variable num will be 0 because we have declared the non-static variable but not initialized it. That means we haven't given any user defined value to the non-static variable. So initially the value of num, the non-static variable num will be 0. The new keyword work is completed. Now the JVM will see the constructor name and we are passing the value 25 inside this constructor name. This 25 will be passed on to the local variable of this test constructor. This test constructor having a argument, int type argument. The name of the int type argument is num. Into this num, this 25 value will be passed down to this local variable of test constructor. Now the JVM will execute this test constructor and inside the test constructor we have this .num. That means we are invoking the non-static variable using this keyword and we are reinitializing the non-static variable using the local variable of this test constructor. As you can see, we are passing 25 to this local variable. The value of this local variable will be 25 and that 25 is getting assigned to this non-static variable. So the value of the non-static variable is 25 now. After doing this, we don't have any other piece of code inside this constructor and the execution of constructor is done. After executing the constructor, the JVM will go back to the main method. Here we have second object creation and that object is T2. T2 is the name of the object. Because of this new keyword, one more new object is going to get created and a new memory is allocated to the object by JVM. So inside this T2, as before, all the non-static variables and non-static methods will be loaded. After loading the non-static variables and non-static methods, the value of this non-static variable num is 0. That is the default value provided by the JVM. So after this, the JVM is going to execute this constructor again. As you can see, from the second object, we are passing a value 50. This 50 will be passed on to this local variable of the test constructor, and that 50 value is getting assigned to this non-static variable. So the value of non-static variable inside object T2 is 50. Inside object T2, the value of non-static variable is 50 as of now. So the execution of this test constructor is completed. The JVM will come back to the main method. Inside this main method, it is finding another object creation, and the name of the object is T3. As you can see on the screen, we have a object T3. Inside the object T3, we will be having a non-static variable and non-static method check num. So initially the value of the non-static variable will be 0, as the 0 is a default value provided by the JVM. After this, the JVM is going to execute the test constructor again. As you can see, we are passing 75 value in the third object creation. 75 value will be passed on to this local variable of the constructor, and that 75 value is reassigning to the non-static variable. As you can see on the screen, the value of non-static variable in object T3 is 75 as of now. So the execution of this constructor is completed. Now the JVM will come back to the main method, and now he is seeing that through T1 object we are calling a method check num. Now the JVM will go into the T1 object. In the T1 object, it will take check num method. Through this check num method, we are passing a value 10. The JVM will take this value and go to the non-static method of check num. Inside this check num, we have an argument. This is the local variable of this method. For this local variable, the value of 10 will be allocated. Inside the method, we have a printing statement. We are printing local num value plus num. The local num value is 10 because we are passing 10 in the T1 object. That 10 will be allocated to this local value. So the local value of this method is 10. After that, we are printing the non-static value. Non-static variable value is, as you can see in the T1 object, whatever the non-static variable value is there, this keyword will fetch that value of the num. What is the non-static variable value in object T1? That is 25, as you can see. So our output should be, for the first printing statement it is 10, and the second printing statement it is 25. For the third printing statement, we are doing the sum of both local and non-static variable. So the sum will be 10 plus 25, totally 35. After this, the method execution is completed. The JVM will come back to the main method, and it is seeing we are invoking the checkNum method through object T2. Now the JVM will go to the object T2. Now the JVM is inside the object T2. Through this object, we are calling checkNum method. Inside this checkNum method, we are passing a value 20. This 20 value will be given to the local variable of this method. Int num is the local variable of this method, and to this int num we are giving the value of 20. The value of this local variable is 20 inside this method. So first printing statement, we are printing the value of the local variable. The value of local variable is 20. First of all, for the first line, we will get the output as local num value 20. Now, as you can see in the T2 object, we are having the non-static variable value is 50. Using this keyword, we are accessing and invoking the value of the non-static variable. As you can see in the T2 object, the value of non-static variable is 50. So the output of this second printing statement is 50 and the output of the first printing statement is 20. The output of the third printing statement in method is the summation of both the numbers, which is 50 plus 20. The output is 70. After execution of this method, the JVM is coming back to the main method and it is seeing that through object T3 we are calling the non-static method again, but here we are passing value of 30. This 30 value will be assigned to the local variable of this method. Inside the method, for the first line, the output will be 30. As you can see in the third object, the value of the non-static variable is 75. So using this keyword, we are fetching the value of the non-static variable. The non-static variable value is 75. So it is going to print 75 for the second line of printing statement. In the third line, we are adding both the local variable and the non-static variable. After adding that, for the third line, we are going to get the output as 105. So this is the explanation of the code whatever you are seeing on the screen. After this, we are going to compile it. Let me open the command prompt. Inside this command prompt, we are going to compile it. javac test.java. As you can see, we don't have any compile time error. Let's see the output. Java test. As you can see, local num value is 10, non-static num value is 25, sum of num values is 35. Just as we discussed, we are getting the output as we wanted. So guys, this is the explanation of this first code. As we got the output as we wanted without any error. Now let's go back to the code. Inside this code, as you can see this line, using this keyword, we are reinitializing the variables. What is that? This is the non-static variable. We are invoking this non-static variable inside the constructor using this keyword. So using this keyword, we are reinitializing the non-static variable. The value of the non-static variable initially it was 0. After this, executing the constructor, the value of non-static variable became 25. So that's the proof we are using this keyword to reinitialize the variables. You can see one more point here. That one more point is constructors are used to initialize and reinitialize the variables in the real time. As I told you, I am going to give you a real-time program as a bonus. Inside that real-time program, you are going to see how the real-time programmers will use the constructors to initialize and reinitialize the variables. So guys, before going to the real-time program, I ask you to drop a like on this video. As you are watching till now, I hope you liked that video. That's why I am asking you to drop the like. Hit the like button and help the YouTube algorithm share my video to as many people as it can. So without late, let's get into your bonus, which is a real-time program. As you can see, this is an example for how the programmers will be done in real time. Let's say we have a requirement that we want a class which gives the vehicle information like name of the vehicle and mileage of the vehicle. We will create separate variables for vehicle name and its mileage. For vehicle name, one separate string variable. For mileage, one separate int type variable. Let's say name and mileage are the features of vehicle. So we are going to create a variable string name for the name of the vehicle, integer mileage for the mileage of the vehicle. Here you can see we have a vehicle constructor which is having two arguments. First argument is string name and second argument is int mileage. So here these two variables are local variables of this constructor. Here you can see we have one more non-static method which is non-argumented. The parentheses are empty. This is a non-argumented non-static method. As you can see, this is the class. Inside the class vehicle, we have the constructor, two non-static variables and a non-static method. In another class, vehicle data. In class vehicle data, we have the main method. So, in class vehicle data, we have the main method. We are going to execute this vehicle data. What we have inside the main method. The JVM will find the main method in class vehicle data and it will come inside. Here, as you can see, we are creating an object of class vehicle. Vehicle V1 is equals to new vehicle Activa and 45. As we all know, Activa bike will give a average mileage of 45. Here, through this object creation, we are calling the class vehicle. This object creation will take this Activa string and 45 value to the vehicle constructor. Inside this vehicle constructor, we have string name. Inside this string name, the Activa will be stored. Inside this int mileage, the value 45 will be stored. These are the local variables of this vehicle constructor. Here, as you can see, we are invoking the non-static variable name, string data type name using this keyword inside the constructor. This dot name, this is the non-static variable. To this non-static variable, we are assigning the name of Activa. This Activa name got to this local variable string name while calling the object. So, for this non-static variable name, Activa will be assigned. For this non-static variable mileage, 45 will be assigned. After this, the execution of the constructor is done. Now, the JVM will come back to the class vehicle data. Inside this class vehicle data, it is going to main method. As first line of the main method is completed, it will see the second line. In the second line, we are creating one more object and inside this object we are passing pulsar and 55. For pulsar bike, 55 is the average mileage. The JVM will take this both arguments and will go to the vehicle constructor inside the class vehicle. To this string name is the local variable. To this local variable, the pulsar name will be assigned. To this local variable of int mileage, the 55 value will be assigned. As you can see, using this keyword, we are calling the non-static variable name, and to this non-static variable name, the local variable is getting assigned. The value of the local variable name is pulsar. So pulsar is getting assigned to this non-static variable inside the object v2. So this dot mileage, to this non-static variable mileage, the value of 55 is getting assigned as you can see on the screen. The constructor execution is done. The JVM will come back to its caller. This second object creation is also done. After this, in the third line, we are invoking the vehicle info method inside the class vehicle through object v1. Now the JVM will go inside the v1 object. Inside the v1 object, we have vehicle info method. Inside the vehicle info method, we have two printing statements. In the first printing statement, we have vehicle name plus name. This name is the non-static variable. The JVM will invoke the non-static variable value here. And in the second printing statement, we have mileage. In the second printing statement, the JVM will invoke the value of the mileage, whatever is the value of mileage and whatever is the value of name inside the v1 object. So inside the v1 object, we are having the value of name as Activa and the value of mileage as 45. So as you can see, for the first printing statement, our output is vehicle name Activa. for the second printing statement, our output is mileage 45. Now the execution of this method is done. The JVM will come back to the main method of class vehicle data. Inside this class vehicle data, it is seeing v2.vehicle.info. Now as we are saying, the JVM will go to the v2 object. Now the JVM is inside the v2 object, and inside the v2 object it is going to search for the vehicle info method. That vehicle info method is in class vehicle. So inside this class vehicle, the JVM found the vehicle info method, and it will enter the vehicle info method, and the same thing repeats again. Here in this v2 object, the value of name is pulsar and the value of the mileage is 55. As you can see, we will get the output for the first printing statement, vehicle name pulsar, and for the second printing statement, mileage 55. So guys, as you can see here, we have one point. In real-time programming, constructor is used to initialize and reinitialize the variables. As you can see here inside the class vehicle, this is our constructor. We are giving two local variables, string name and int mileage, while calling the constructor. That means while creating the object, we are passing the values activa and 45. Literally, we are assigning this activa and 45 to this string name and mileage. This is initialization, and after that, inside the constructor, we are invoking the non-static variables of string name and int mileage. To the string name and int mileage, we are reinitializing the local variable value to this non-static variables. So this explains the point. In real-time programming, constructor is used to initialize and reinitialize the variable. This is the way the programmers will write the program in real time. So guys, this is the end of this keyword. So guys, in future we are going to see many concepts on Java. Don't forget to like this video and share this video to as many people as you can. Thank you for watching.